Hello, my wildlings, and welcome back to Turnabout for All. In the last episode, things were really not looking good. And, just at the last minute, Jack, Savage, decided that he wanted to add a little insult to injury and try and give Judy an extra charge of murdering Doug Ramses. So, great. And in this episode, we're going to hear the testimony about said poisoning.
It is suspected that Officer Hobbs poisoned the victim in the detention centre. There was a period of 5 minutes where they were alone. Security camera footage of the time shows when the defendant committed the act. His glass of water had been poisoned. The poison went undetected until his death at the stand.
So the defendant was caught in the act, eh? And this 5-minute period was the only time it could have happened.
We are confident the poison was in his water, so yes. It is also known as phenylquinolate carbonic acid, and is a treatment for rheumatic disease and podagra. These words are difficult for me, I do apologize. So that's in small amounts, and usually in the form of a medicine capsule. This, however, was in a liquid solution. The drug promotes uric acid excretion in the body and does general liver damage. The victim's urine had a very yellow colour. Symptoms are vomiting, jaundice, and poor clotting time, as well as hemorrhages throughout the body. Deaths are usually from acute liver atrophy, as was the case with Doug Ramses. Well, that all sounds very unpleasant. If only we could find the true culprit who could possibly be so cold and callous and ruthless to have done such a thing. You could say that this person was perhaps Savage. And you never realised his true condition.
That does seem a bit of an oversight, Mr. Savage.
He was obviously unwell, but hid his symptoms from us. He was blatantly a stubborn, arrogant, and prideful man.
Sounds like a certain prosecutor we know. Try not to make him angry, Phoenix.
Besides, we had no idea about the atropine until after the fact. She was quite discreet. The atropine has a reaction time of potentially several days. It was not obvious right off the bat, and the recording itself was taken on the 27th, 3 days before the trial. There is no room for doubt here. It might be plausible that his water was poisoned, but certainly not by Judy. Someone has been very careful to set all of this up. Yeah, I wonder who, as if it wasn't so obvious. Oh my, I will never guess. Cross-examination. Okay. Now's my chance, I hope.
It is suspected that Officer Hobbs poisoned the victim in the detention centre.
Well, I'm going to press that, obviously. How could something like this happen inside the detention centre? It's supposed to be a secure facility.
I, too, would like to know the reasons, Chief Belgo.
It never should have happened.
Well, that's not very helpful, is it?
There was a period of 5 minutes where they were alone.
5 whole minutes? Do you know what they did in that time?
Yes, our cameras are always watching what happens inside of the detention centre, which is why we know what transpired that day. Security camera footage of the time shows when the defendant committed the act.
We had a case of security footage being tampered with a short time ago. Can we believe everything we see?
I'll have the tapes checked just to be safe. Everything is as it should be, and there is no doubting what the cameras recorded.
Continue, witness.
His glass of water had been poisoned.
His glass of water?
Yes, you could see it clearly in the recording. He unknowingly drank the poison in his drink, dooming himself.
There is nothing you could do for him.
The poison went undetected until his death at the stand.
However you try to frame it, this is still the result of police department's error. This happened on the ZPD's watch.
I agree with the defense. This is gross negligence at its worst. Just like my granddaughter with her cat. Such a shame. You see, she didn't quite kill it properly. She went for the throat, but she missed the jugular. The cat took a long time to bleed out, and I had to finish the job for her. It was such a shame. Truly, her beard will never really look at her in the same way. You see, my family, we have these rituals for our beards to grow properly. And if it's not done properly, it can end very poorly for the poor child. Oh well. My beard is still quite lustrous though, so it's fine.
Oh, what was that meant to mean? Just ignore him. He says weird stuff sometimes. Hey, it's all as he says. We were in that room and there was a camera. Maybe, but something about what he said doesn't sit right with me. I'd better take another look. Yes, I probably should, but I'm not sure what exactly I need to present here. It's expected that Officer Hobbs poisoned the victim in the detention centre. There was a period of 5 minutes where they were alone. Let's have a quick look. Camera footage shows Judy and Doug alone, questioning room. Around 5 minutes, Doug was drinking out of a glass of water. You don't see the poison. Security camera footage shows shows when the defendant... But it doesn't, though. It shows that she was there and could have committed the act. It does not show her doing it. There is room for doubt. So that is what I shall be presenting. Hey! Got ya. Chief Bogo, there is a serious issue with your testimony.
There is?
You always sound surprised every bloody time I give evidence. Like, by this point you should have just realised that it's gonna happen.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Wright?
Security camera footage of the victim shows when the defendant committed the act. Weren't those your exact words?
Yes, that's right.
And this is the camera footage in question, correct?
Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright?
It's quite simple. If you look at this footage, you see the defendant and victim interact, but at no point during the recording do you see the poison. Or...
There's no sign of the poison. How can the witness claim that is the moment of the poisoning if you don't see it?
Well, the judge has a little bit of doubt. That's what we needed to keep things going. Now let's see if we can keep our momentum. She does come in close proximity of the water on the table, but the moment of the poisoning is never witnessed, which means you cannot know if my client was the one who planted it at all.
Cannot know? Ridiculous.
There are frames where she or Ramses block the water from view. She could have done it then, choose her moment with care. Or she could have performed a sleight of hand, hard to notice but there to the trained eye. Well, I have an alternate explanation. One that shows my client's innocence.
Alternate explanation?
Well, I haven't no decisive evidence, but I don't know for sure if that's how it really got there. But it's the only thing that fits, and I need to buy Edgeworth more time. Just smile and speak confidently. A good old Phoenix Wright bluff.
I hope this isn't one of your infamous bluffs, Mr. Wright.
Of course not. I know what I'm doing. I really hope you do.
Very well. What do you have to say to the court?
Well, to start, this could have happened instead. Oh, boy. We argued the Night Howler case. When I returned the bottle was there. I didn't think much of it as it was empty and without a label. Mrs. Savage has a reputation elsewhere. Judy Hopps' testimony, I think. Let me just make sure I've set myself a good timestamp that I can return to using my lawyer powers. Well, my client claims she found the bottle on returning to her cell. But if that's the case, we must ask how it got there. And here's my answer. Well, I think that's... where is it? Oh yes, the news report. But I'm going to present this evidence in the next episode, and I'll see you all then. Goodbye, good night, and good luck.